Hey,
Terayle Hill. How are
what's
you?
good? I'm chilling. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. First of all, thank you for joining another episode of One on One with Courtney Starks. We are honored to have you, brother. First, thank
Oh
you. Thank
man.
you so much. I have been waiting. I've been waiting for this. When I told my team, I normally give my team a list of people that I want. They normally kind of pitch me people, but I'm like, I want Terayle Hill on the
Hey.
show. And after seeing you perform in Lambs to Slaughter, I already knew I needed to have you on the show.
Oh, you came to the
I
play?
came to the play, brother.
Oh, snap. It's you was in a black box. It was
Yes,
small, it was concise. I couldn't really see nobody when I was doing it, but that's crazy, bro.
yeah, man.
I think we did we chop it up afterwards?
I think we spoke for a little bit because Khalil and me are really good friends. So
Heard you.
when I
Okay.
got an opportunity to say a little hi, how you doing, and show you some love, but I
Right.
definitely had to have you on because I'm like, this brother is doing so many amazing things, and we're gonna give him his flowers today, right
Hey,
now, not later on. You know what I mean? Because they're
thank
well
you, bro.
deserved, man.
I
So how
appreciate
are
it.
you? How has your week been?
Oh man, the week has been cool, man. Right now, literally before you called, I was editing.
Mm,
I've been editing some stuff that's going to come out. We have a media company on our side called Everybody's Incorporated. So I was working
hmm.
on a podcast that we shot in April, but we're also gearing up for season 2 of Speak Up, the poetry
Okay.
series that we have on the Everybody's Network on YouTube. So I was kind of just giving some notes on the trailer before you hit me up. So
Nice, nice,
I'm
nice,
chilling,
nice.
man. I'm just
This
trying to work, trying to get to it, man. You know what I'm saying?
busy, busy just making it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, trying to, man,
I
trying
hear
to get some
you.
stuff going on, you
I
know?
hear you. So let's talk about just growing up in Moreno Valley,
Yeah.
this young kid with big dreams, right? Um, where did the love bug happen? The want and need to want to get into acting, and want to get into your artistry and your creativity. Did that start at a young age for you, or for some of us, when we get into school and we learn to start finding ourselves and knowing what we want?
Right, right. Well, out of all the bugs that bit me first, acting was actually last on the list. And that
Wow.
didn't happen until freshman, sophomore year of college at Clark Atlanta University in 2012, 2013.
Wow.
My first time ever doing any real acting might have been the summer prior in like a short film that I wrote. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like a short film music video because music was the first bug to ever bite me outside of
Yeah.
basketball. Uh, so, I think the whole creative bug started in Moreno Valley regardless. I come from a family that's very musically inclined. My older brother, rest in peace, he was an opera singer. He was a
Yeah.
stage actor. He was the only person I knew personally that really got down as it pertains to like stage and acting until my stepfather came into my life. My little
Yeah.
sister and my mother, they can all sing very well. First actor I met was my
Mhm.
Big Arch, my stepfather.
Okay.
Big Arch, he had done a Super Bowl commercial. He had done like a couple of feature films at that time. I was like sixth grade, seventh grade.
Mhm.
So I wasn't allowed to watch none of the stuff that he did at that age.
Yeah.
I knew he was writing music and recording
Yeah.
music a lot. So he was the first one to take me to the studio and show me how to like record. I did it with like a group of folks. So it
Mhm.
was, it was a beautiful experience. And then when I got to Clark, I didn't put music down. I just put it down as far as public pursuit is concerned. I never put
Okay.
my pen down. I always enjoyed writing music. That was like something I did since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I just went through a few things in Atlanta when I first got there that kind of made me want to put it down and focus on my studies.
Mhm.
And that's when acting made its way to the forefront because
Yeah.
I guess the performer in me just needed something to do. And we was having
Mhm.
auditions for this
Yeah.
web series on campus called College Boyfriends that Tina Shakia, shout out Tina Shakia,
Mhm.
was putting together. So that was my first time really doing any acting like that. And by the grace of God, it led to what I'm doing now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It
You
was
were
crazy.
mentioning earlier before that you had like shot this music video,
Yeah.
and from what I think I was reading this, you weren't even supposed to be the one acting in it. Your friend Flake. See, this is what see them friends will do it to you all the time.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But you know what? I don't think friends flake more than friends, got other things going on sometimes. At that point in time, this was summer 2012, right before I got to Clark. So we talking, I just turned 18. The friend I'm talking about currently has like a clothing brand, ironically enough, and creativity was at the forefront of his mind and heart too. He just wasn't available, but it worked out to where I was like, all right, I'll do it too. And honestly, after releasing the music video, that was also a short film. It did pretty good view-wise. I had a lot of friends who tapped into it and enjoyed it, but I still didn't think nothing of it until auditions came around. And a friend of mine, matter of fact, shout out Deontay Wyatt. He went to Clark Atlanta with me, but he was also an actor. He was the first person I showed that short film to when I got to Clark.
Wow.
And he said, yo, have you ever acted before? I said, nah. Does this count? Because I'm not sure. But yeah, Deontay kind of like gave me the words of encouragement. And then I think he might have told me about Tina doing auditions for College Boyfriends. And I'm not sure if that's exactly how it went. This was 2012, but I do know shortly after that conversation with Deontay, I had my first audition and it was in a room full of people and it was completely improv. For whatever reason, I ain't feel as uncomfortable as I thought I would. And things just kind of did his thing, I guess.
And now we're in 2022 and you've done all, you have such a body of work. Man. You know what I mean? Come on, God. Come on, God.
Come on, God.
It's just, I did a little something here and there too. I was in Judas and the Black Messiah. Just so we're clear. You know what I mean? So talk about
that's still crazy. That's still crazy. I still don't believe it.
It is insane to see just your evolution, right? For yourself, what do you feel like you've gained the most in diving into so many different, number one, characters, because you played a lot and we could sit here and list them all, but we only have an hour to do. What do you feel like you've gained just on the acting side, but I also know on the directing side, the creative side, the writing side, what are some things that you've taken in?
Well, that's a tough one because I went to school to be a director. I always knew before I was acting that I wanted to work in the film space because I had already directed a short film the prior summer before that. And I actually just directed 2 shorts that premiered on Revolt last night. So directing and all forms of creativity, I think feed the same part of me that wants to perform. I think it's just, I love creating things with my hands. You know what I mean? I like joining teams. I like being a part of groups to create something bigger than everybody in the group. You know what I mean? So I am the creative that, what you need. You need you can hop in front of the camera, you can direct, I can edit the joint, like what you need me to do. And I get the same amount of love and appreciation from it on the inside. So I don't know. I know your question wasn't which one I like more, but I know I get the same thing from all of them. I like to just be a part of things that matter and play my role. Sometimes the role has me in the front. Sometimes the role has me leading from the back. Sometimes the role has me standing next to the person in charge. Sometimes I'm getting them coffee and I'm with whatever, because however I can assist, I'm with it.
And that's the art of true humility, right? Like, it's not, I'm better than you. I'm the actor, so you get me the stuff. It's how can we collectively make this happen together?
We all sharing the same call sheet. You know what I mean? I don't care what position you're in. I learned a long time ago, any room that you're invited in would not be the same if you don't show up.
Come on.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's super important to just show up and play your role. My role has shifted from playing co-stars and smaller roles, even I think a couple of times some one-liners. And I've been positioned in recent times to be challenged to do my first play, which you said you saw. And then of course, I've had bigger opportunities where of course I'm playing a small role, but I'll take one line and Judas and Black Messiah. What you need me to say? Thank you, sir. Walk away. You know what I mean? I feel good. I don't care. I don't care. What I need, I'll do it, and I feel the same way now that things have shifted to where now I'm doing more satisfying work, I'll
Okay.
say, because I don't think anything is more important than the other, but
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have the responsibility to have more responsibility in these projects that I'm on, you know,
Yeah.
whether it's directing more projects, there's a lot of responsibility in that. Having a production company, there's a lot of responsibility in that, but
Yeah.
being the lead of a TV show or a movie, there's a lot of responsibility in that as well, you know?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think on all ends, I just try to play my role to the best of my ability and, you know, be happy with the performance regardless.
So, you know, what I love is that, you know, you're willing to do the work and show up, not just for yourself, but for everyone involved in the craft. But life happens sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And we don't always book right away. There are times, spaces, and places where you're sitting at home eating them Captain Crunch like, God, please, when's the next thing about to happen? You know what I
That's the
mean?
phase I'm in right now, if I'm
Right.
being completely honest. I'm
Yeah.
editing to kill time. I'm definitely itching to get back on set. I think the only thing I did was the play, with the exception of a project I did for BET that comes out in October, but that was a 5-day shoot. I think the whole year it's been nothing but my media company and that play that have taken the most of my creative time. And I'm grateful for that. I also released a project in February that's doing pretty well too musically. But you know, I definitely want to be back on set sooner than later, you know?
So how do you maintain motivation and positivity when you are in between jobs? I was just speaking to somebody before and he was just telling me the struggle internally sometimes where you're just feeling depressed because when's the next one gonna happen? You know what I mean? And we get lost. We get lost with that. Just not realizing there are other ways to tap into your artistry, you know?
Yeah. You know, I'm out of a lot of creatives I know, they always tell me I kind of have the most going on, not on the acting side, but just in a, I wouldn't call it extracurricular either. I just say a lot of dreams geared towards the film industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have my days where I'm depressed. Like, dude, I acting is like not just the thing that I do, but it's also been the main source of my livelihood for the last. I booked my first TV show in 2016. It's 2022 now. So like last 6-7 years for me has been, I need to book so I can feed myself and also feed these projects. I'm completely independent in everything that I do and I'm obviously co-owning the media company, but you know, not taking any financing from any companies. We have to kind of, so if I'm not working, I do have those moments where my confidence and my momentum slows because I am relying on my ability to fill my own gas tank to get myself from place to place. So if I'm not working, if I'm not booking, I take hits to my confidence all the time. But even the things that I do in the meantime to keep myself motivated, right now, I found myself doing a lot of reading. In fact, I'm reading this book right now as we speak. I edit, I go hoop. You know what I mean? I really just tap into things I used to do as a kid because finding joy when you have nothing that you'd expect to have is true joy. You know what I mean? Of course, you're gonna smile when your bank account is high and you booked out and you got a whole bunch of stuff going on and everybody rocking with you. But there's slow periods where absolutely nothing is going on, and if you're not happy too, you were never happy back then.
Before, right?
You just kind of were satisfied or distracted by the work to not focus on yourself. I actually am grateful for this downtime because as I feel like my life is shifting into being more busy, more consistently, this downtime is important to regroup, to recharge, to recalibrate, and to reassess what's important and what isn't. So I think,
it's gonna be in a moment where you wish you had that downtime. In that once you get back to that place, you're gonna be, damn, I wish I could take a break.
You know, and that's really what's crazy because there was a point in time where I felt that way too. And I know that at that time though, I wasn't doing the work that I'm doing now myself to just be happy with nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you don't have the consistent flow of energy happening, when you don't have money consistently coming in, when you don't have much of any of the things that I guess we fight for in this craft. You know what I mean? If you're not happy without it, you know what I mean? It really don't matter too much. You know, I try to find happy without. I think that's been a really big part of my journey at the age of 28 at this point.
What I love most about just reading up on you is that you are strong in your faith, and I'm sure that has gotten you this far, and and through this entire process, 6-7 years. So let's talk about how your faith has played a major part in everything that you've done.
I literally have my notebook over there because I'm in the middle of a fast right now, and I was jotting my thoughts for the day. I'll say fasting and meditation have been a really big part of my life. There was a point in time where I was very dependent on certain substances, nothing too crazy, nothing too heavy, all good stuff, but still stuff that inhibit my ability to be my best version. So I've literally gotten rid of a lot of my vices and devices that keep me from moving forward. I was actually in church last Sunday, and it was talking about, okay, you can make trades with the world for things that make you feel good in the moment, but what are you trading because of it? I had to get to a point, for example, as somebody, I might regret saying this publicly, but I do use green. I'm from Cali, you know what I'm saying? I enjoy rolling up a little bit of nature's finest, but am I trading marijuana for my work ethic? I had to ask myself that. And since then I've quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'll be there when I get to a place of stability. But for now, it's more important that I live out my purpose. You know what I mean? Because we can make justifications for why we do certain things that we do. But if
it's not right, it doesn't mean that it's right.
Yeah, and even if it's okay to do, or if it's not really a problem, if you're not paying attention to the time, sometimes God asks us to read the room, basically.
Right.
God, I think I had so many private moments with God, asking God why and how. And he was like, are you paying attention to what's going on? Like, maybe you not ready for this.
Yeah.
Maybe you running from something you need to deal with, or maybe you just don't realize that you can be ready on the surface, but you're still not ready to present. So I think doing that spirit work has been a really big part of keeping me in this place of patience.
Yeah.
I think when you lean on too many vices can be anything, mind you. You know what I mean? Other people and attention and energy and constantly needing to be out of the house can be a vice in itself. And if you are constantly having a hard time sitting with yourself and figuring out what your best move is for yourself, then you kind of might as well be wasting your time, because you are.
That's so true. That is so true. Speaking about patience, when I see you, because I guess I'm a fan, right? Now that you're my brother on the show, right? I'm also a fan. I think I respect your work so much.
Appreciate it.
But for some reason, there's this thing going around. People are resembling you to Chris Brown.
That's been happening since I was in 7th grade, bro. Whatever day Yo came out, it was raps.
Whoa! How do you handle that? And the people who are just like wanting to take pictures and without your consent and all of these things.
I've had a very interesting relationship with my social life, I'll say. It's transformed so many times. And I've often had issues with seeing myself as an individual, you know what I mean? But not because I don't feel like an individual. And again, I'm a huge fan of Chris Brown. I can't wait to shake his hand and meet him and hopefully work with him in some capacity. However, bring him coffee too, I don't care. But the thing is that I had to learn how to navigate that in different phases in my life. When I was in 7th grade, it was just really annoying. You know what I mean? You're also coming into your manhood when you're 13 years old. So if people don't address you by the name you're giving them, you then start to question your own confidence in the way people respect you, or people respect you at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Own value.
Exactly. And then when I got older and got to college, it was just a funny joke to everybody else. But I'm like, every time I come into this cafeteria, they play wall to wall, and I just don't want to eat today.
Oh my God.
And I mean, again, it's funny for everybody else, but it's funny because I think God is very interesting in how he moves, the things and the people. I have had some really annoying instances that have happened in real life, but it's happened so much that now I'm numb to it. It really don't bother me at all. And I think it's right on time, because this year, I know towards the end of this year especially, I feel like I'll be a part of some projects that are going to be putting me in a position where I have a bigger platform, or more people that are seeing the work that I can do. And that's probably going to be the first thing they say. And now, thank God, for the last I don't know, 15, 16 years of hearing that every day that I step outside the door, it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It doesn't bother me one bit. I don't answer to it. None of my friends and family and people that know me can get a reaction out of me by calling me that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's not an issue with him. Like, I'm like, huge fan. He ain't got nothing to do with it. And I can't pick my face either. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Like you were born with this face. So,
well, mind you, if you ask me, I don't think I look like him. I think I've had my face for 28 years.
I don't think you look like him either. And this is why I'm like, what? But then
Yeah.
again, it's people who know you, right? Like I've gotten opportunity just through your work to get to know you. So when I look at you, I don't see Chris, I see Terayle. That's
Well, I mean, I think for me, a big part of my creative journey is just doing the work. I think that's one thing that everything taught me, because it did keep me from a lot. I'll be honest. One of the things that made me stop doing music when I got to Atlanta was that I hated getting heckled. I found myself more to be more of a lyrical person. But you know, when I got there, I was introduced to trap music. You know what I mean? It's hella lyrical trap music. But at the time, it was just trap music in general. So when I was performing, my set looked very different than the people that I was performing with. And in the AMC, it just didn't feel like I had a place. Right. Especially coming from the desert. I'm not from a city. I'm from a city. I'm not from a city, or I'm from the desert, from Moreno Valley. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I get shell shocked going to places that have big buildings and a lot of people. So imagine all those people just walking up to you and just saying stuff, laughing and walking away every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
You
it can play on your insecurities.
Yeah. You either work with it or you don't. But I found ways to be an individual over time, and it really don't bother me at all. It bothers me when people think that it's something that I will respond to. And it's always weird when people think I'm supposed to take it as a compliment too, because I don't assume how people feel about him. You know what I mean? So it could be a little weird, those interactions, because people use it as an icebreaker. You know what I mean? And that's weird, because it's like, nice you know? But it again, I can't emphasize this enough. Outside of being a huge fan of his and wanting to just meet him one day, I'm also very satisfied with who I am as a creative and as a person. So I'm only here for the work. If the music I make, if the work I do, if the only thing you got from it was that you feel like I look like somebody else, I must need to work harder. And that's cool. I'll put in the work. I got the energy for it.
Well, that's one thing you definitely do well. You put in a lot of work. You put in a lot of work. Let's talk about Judas and the Black Messiah, because that was such a dope film. I just think that we could spend a whole nother hour just talking about that, because it was so powerful. And I want to get the viewers to just talk a little bit about your role, how it was booking that role and playing with iconics like Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. Had to be like mind-blowing. So let's talk a little bit about that.
You know, I think the coolest part about that entire project was it was a point in time, maybe a year and a half before that, the Black Panther movie was auditioning. I never got an audition or anything like that, but I think every Black actor wanted to be a part of the Black Panther franchise. So I wrote down that I want to work on the Black Panther project. But then I was like, but if they ever do a movie about the actual Black Panthers, I want that too. You know what I mean? And that was the project that actually came through. I'm a huge fan of everything the company Macro does. I'm also a huge fan of Shaka King. I'm a huge fan of the person Charles D. King. I had an honor to work on him on a project earlier this year as well, and he's one of the people that work at Macro. So when I first got to set, literally right from the hotel dropping off my bag, Charles D. King is in the street. They just finished shooting the exterior of the shootout scene where Lakeith was firing. Not Lakeith. You know where they were shooting down at the police? Okay, so I got there right at lunch break.
Wow.
So when I got there, I just finished my fitting and I'm just on set. Like, I want to see what's going on. I'm here. First person I see is Charles King. So he pulls me aside. He says, "What's up?" He introduces me to a couple of people. I think I don't remember. I wasn't Lakeith at that time, but I met somebody else in the cast that I hadn't seen anymore after that. But that might have been his last day. Then I got some food. I was sitting at a table by myself because I'm not working today, and I don't want to. I don't even feel like it's right for me to be getting food.
Right.
But I just grab some food because he tells me to, and I go sit down. About 5 minutes later, I see him walking over to me, and Mr. King is like, "What? You just eating by yourself?" I was like, "I don't know nobody. I just got here." And he said, "Come with me." And then I follow him, take my lunch, and the next thing I know, I'm literally sitting there with him, a couple of other executive producers,
Wow.
and to my right is Fred Hampton Jr. You know what I mean? He's giving me the rundown on who George Sams is. He's giving me the entire background. I'm hearing Black Panther stories right here in my ear. You know what I mean? So again, I don't talk about my media company when I'm on set, but when I get to set, I'm literally watching above the line production and below the line production. I'm looking at everything.
Yeah.
Even looking at the cameras that they're shooting on and writing notes in my phone. So when I'm sitting with the executive producers of the film, listening to some of the things that have been going on, communications about pre-production, post-production, the timeliness of the shoot, some of the shots that have gone up, the work for the rest of the week, I'm just a sponge.
Soaking it, right.
All of it in. Like, I don't even feel like I should be sitting at this table because it's basically all the not all the EPs, but pretty much like King, couple other EPs, and Mr. Hampton Jr. right here. You know what I mean? So that was, I think, the most memorable and exciting part of that project. Second, because obviously when we got to actually shoot the project, you know what I mean? There were multiple scenes, and I think the movie was really long as it was. So I know scenes that were shot in that film were
had to be cut off. Yeah.
Right. One of mine got cut, I believe, and I know a few of my friends' scenes had got cut down too. That's just how it goes. That's no big deal. But the one that did get on camera, the one where I'm sitting on the stairs, I was so nervous that day.
Oh man,
I had known Algie. Algie Smith was in that scene too. I had known Algie for some years, just in passing in auditions. We cool with each other, you know, good to see you, bro. You know, dap up, keep doing the thing. You know, we didn't live in the same spot. So we only saw each other occasionally, but Ashton Saunders was in the scene, and of course Lakeith Stanfield was in the scene. So from my vision, I'm looking at Lakeith, Ashton, Algie, Shaka, Mr. King, and everybody in the background, and I'm sitting here smoking a cigarette like, don't mess this up. Bro, you don't have too much to say. All you got to do is be menacing a little bit. Just knock it out.
Right.
Don't mess it up. Just be focused. And I'll never forget that, because even Lakeith is from the IE. He's from the Inland Empire. You know what I mean? I'm from the IE. You know what I mean? So it's just like, dang, Lakeith, like, you really out here, bro. Like, that's how I felt. And I didn't want to be weird because, you know, when you get on set, you start beating people. I'm not one of the main characters.
Yeah.
The subplot storyline. So I'm not there heck of days. You know what I mean? I'm there for the scenes that I'm shooting, and then I got to shake.
That's it, right.
You know, so I did feel comfortable enough to just let him know that as somebody from the Inland Empire, it's inspirational to see him doing all that he's doing, coming from the Inland Empire. You know what I mean? But I kind of left it at that. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be weird in the room or nothing like that, you know, but it was an excellent memory. Like, I can't believe that actually happened, you know? And I've done projects where I've had so much more to do. But in that project, like I said, bro, I was just happy to be a part.
Yeah.
A big part of my foundation is just the Black Panthers. I was growing up in high school. Even I was the president of the Black Student Union. I was the vice president for United Black Student Unions of California. I worked with the NAACP in the Modesto chapter in Sacramento. We just came back from African Black Coalition. A big part of what I feel my purpose is progressing the Black community forward, just through my own actions, not as like somebody who's literally voicing that and trying to build a platform solely for that purpose. But I do believe in moving with my actions, and everybody's incorporated in the content we create, and a lot of the things that we try to do are all for the forward progress of the culture. You know what I mean? So being a part of something that educates people who don't know Fred Hampton, don't know about the Panthers, and don't know how powerful that group was and how iconic that time was, just being a part of it. Like I said, I don't care what my position is. I could be I could be the lead, or I could be the person with one line. What you want to do, I'm there, bro. Like, I'm just honored to be here. I want to do good work, and I want us to all be proud of it. But, you know, outside of that, man, it's just a fond memory I get to tell my kids about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
man.
that was the moment though. That was the moment. That was the first time I ever like saw something and was genuinely proud. All the other stuff I thought was pick apart, but that was where I was like,
it's a
dang.
lot of education, right? To be able to soak it all up and to, like you were saying, like to be able to have somebody right next to you who's been through this, who has gone through this, and can tell you and speak on this, man. Like after that, God, you could have your way, God. Just go ahead. If I need to go home after
I wouldn't have got that project if God didn't have his way.
Come on.
I wasn't already saying that to the Lord. You know what I mean? I understand very well that everything that I've ever gotten in this world was my obedience, but I couldn't have gotten those things without being obedient, which means there were instructions I had to follow. There was a path I had to walk. You know what I mean? Things ain't handed to nobody for no reason. You know what I mean? So, and even when you get it, it's not really yours. You know what I mean? Really for the world to see and grow from and use. And our jobs as creatives is just to plant the seed. We're not even responsible for whether people pick it up or not.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So like I said, because of some things growing up, I've conditioned myself to just show up for the work. I'm gonna say whatever people say, I'm just there for the work. And I want to make sure, because my name is spelled a certain way and it's not hard to find who I am. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Make sure I do a good job. My name is so weird. I gotta stand out if I gotta
So what is it like, or what has it been like before to be a part of the Stars franchise? Because that's big. That's big. You know, I've been a part of the Step Up community, shall I say, because it's what it is, the community from the beginning. And at one point I was like, if they make another Step Up anything, I'm gonna step off. But
this TV
show is completely different than anything I've ever seen. And when I first watched, you know, I'm a binge watcher. I just believe in, I want to be able to see every episode when I want to. Don't you tell me I gotta wait until Saturday to watch this. So I binge watched the first season and wasn't able to stop. Like literally hours later, and I'm like, damn, I'm still watching this show. Like in love. And it's so dope to see just how far it's come. And I love it.
You ain't seen nothing yet, bro.
I can't wait for the release of season 3. But but talk about what it's like to be a part of such a great franchise.
Man, I'm so grateful, bro. Like, again, it comes back to God. I was a kid when they started releasing the Step Up movies, obviously Channing Tatum, and I mean, it's had so many runs. Fitness, you know. So anytime somebody takes something like, all right, this is what this is, let's see what we can do to, I don't know what the right word is, but evolve. Let's take this movie franchise and evolve it into something in the cinema world. Make it TV, and let's break it up and let's add dynamic characters. Let's add, it's just a beautiful formula. And I think it worked out great. I will say that the first 2 seasons that you saw were on YouTube Premium. You know what I mean? And when it got off YouTube Premium, by the grace of God, Stars picked it up. But season 3 was shot by Stars. So it is a very different show in a lot of great ways. In all the great ways. And that's no knock to YouTube. I just think that show has a whole lot of potential when it comes to the things that you can say and do. And there's just things you can't really say and do on YouTube that you can do on Stars. You know what I mean? So season 3, the way it's shot, the way that the music sounds, the way that the choreography is advanced, bro, it's just like, yo, like.
And it's so much depth, right? It's not just like surface level. There's all of the characters have something deep going on. And it's like, to be able to follow, you know what I mean? I can't wait. As soon as I saw that there was a release for season 3, I'm like, okay. So now
bro, I can't wait either, bro. We finished that last May, bro. I'm like, come on, y'all. Like, come on. It's been like 15 months, man. Like, what y'all doing? Not what y'all doing. I don't know if they ain't gonna see this. They don't be mad at me for saying what y'all doing. We all excited. I'm like, everybody a fan of the show. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see the show, and it has nothing to do with me being in the show. I as somebody who went to school for film and somebody who's been breaking down scripts since I was 17 years old. You know what I mean? Like getting to work up close and personal with the creative process and watch all the actors tap in and take season 3 to a whole nother level was really exciting in itself. I can tell the writing and the production value and everything is just multiplied. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, I'm just excited, bro.
Yeah, man.
And
I'm excited for
part
you.
of that was just like, I'm just grateful, bro.
I'm excited for you. I really am, because it's really good. It's a really good show. Speaking about shows, you got your we're gonna go back to this. You got your Broadway chops in Lansing, Florida. First of all, just the album alone was amazing. And I told Khalid this before. Like, we went out, we had lunch, and we were talking about this. Little did I had no idea he was formulating this as a thing. He was hinting at it, and I never really picked it up. So when it happened, I was like, this man, like, boom, genius. What was it like? First of all, what was it like to even jump into being on stage, a Broadway stage, and acting in that degree? Because it is totally different from TV and film. Completely different. So how was that for you?
Well, I had never done a play prior to that. I mean, if you count the time I played 3 characters at church when I was in high school, that's very different than Cherry Lane Theater. It's very different from me, ensemble company. You know what I mean? And Khalid, first of all, Khalid, you saw the play. He can write his tail off. Like, Khalid went crazy. Everything was just incredibly written. So I felt an immense amount of pressure. I'd never done a play before. I had never had to do as much work as I had to do in that play. You saw the play. So I felt in that play, in real life action, I had to figure out is the right word, how to feel every literal emotion from the time the play starts to the time it plays in, go far left, all the way to far right. And that was its own acting seminar, let alone like a new expression of freedom I didn't know existed. I think I say that might have been the most alive I ever felt doing a play. Alive, like in general, like not just creatively, just like, okay, I am, you know how the play starts. So as the play starts, we jump right into the action. Music, you go right into it. And then all of a sudden, you're watching the family exist. So music kind of primed you for it, in my opinion. And then once you got into the play, it was like, I'm hearing people respond to me and these other 3 characters just live life for 2 hours. And feel emotions for 2 hours. You have no choice but to just strip yourself of who you are when you're not inside of this theater and just be who you needed to be. In that case, I needed to be Emmett for 2 hours. And that means everything that's Terayle is not. You know what I mean? I don't need to be me right now. I tried to get rid of as many of my own mannerisms and behaviors as possible. I mean, one thing I was laughing with Khalid about, I was like, bro, I feel like I sound too West Coast to be from Harlem. I don't know how to do this. But working with Khalid, working with Adiaga, working with Koala, man, it was just incredible. Shout to the director, shout to the entire team. It was just like, man, I'll never forget that experience. And it was a very emotional experience too. That play held a lot of parallels to my own life. So it was just ironic that Khalid asked me to be a part of it, and I said yes before I even read the play. I felt like that was all God. Once again, doing what God do. God got it.
Come on. Yes, sir.
But it was an incredible experience. So, you know, Lamb Slaughter was dope. I'm happy that you liked it, man. That's
it was really good. I'm telling you, when we first spoke about it, when he first told me, before he even announced it, I was like, dude, this is going to be iconic. Right? Iconic. This is right before he told me who were in the cast. When he mentioned you, I was like, the first thing I said was, oh, this is gonna be dope. Like, I'm like, he's looking at me and I'm like, I don't even think you realize. But at the time I was watching right before he told me, I was watching a movie you were in where you were like a co-host to like this relationship. What's the name of that movie?
Angrily Ever After.
Yes, Angrily Ever After. And you play like a co-host. And I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be amazing. This is not me just watching you in this movie as he's telling me. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be dope. His energy is infectious. And this is just him acting in a character. Like, yeah. So I was floored to be able to come and see you. And I think this kind of over time for yourself, what message have you you kind of gravitated to help you navigate through the different challenges in your life?
What message?
Yeah.
Sorry, my fridge just decided to make some noise. Like, word on Facebook Live, you gonna do that? That's crazy. I really wanted to think about the right answer, and if it's okay, we can double back to that question maybe in just a second, because I don't want to just say something that sounds bad. I really want to think about that, because and like I said, in this time of rest and recovery for me, I've been thinking about so many things. So if you don't mind, just
no, that's
maybe
okay.
just need more time to think about it. I don't want to waste no time. So we can just come back to it. Let's keep
So
chopping
speaking about kind of characters and genres and things that you've been able to play, what is something that you would like to dive into at some point in your journey, character wise, genre wise, that you may have not been able to tap into?
I got a sneak peek at what it is to do action, and I'm thirsty, bro. Like, I can't wait. At this point, I've done my own stunts before. A lot of people don't know, but I have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
But they're easily hidden with just a regular t-shirt.
Yeah.
But because of that, I have to do my own stunts if they can't find a double that can double me. And I know that since I have the clearances to my own tattoos, they don't really have any issues with letting me do my own stunts so I can do them, because they can't cover up all of my tattoos without spending hours doing it.
Yeah.
That said, the opportunities I got to do action, it was one for a boxing show that unfortunately didn't get picked up after we shot the pilot, but I spent at least a month training, and I was hooked. I still box today because of it. So I'm still manifesting a fighting project of any kind, because I also wrestled in high school, and I just scrap. I feel like I don't scrap in real life these days, but if I had to, I got hands.
You got hands, right?
Hey, if I got to, but I don't want to. We grown, you know what I'm saying? We talk about it, pray about it.
Right.
But I would love to do that on camera again. But I did get to do some action and step up this season. I got to do my own stunts a few times, and I just did a football project that comes out next year where I got to play all my stunts in that too. I played a running back, so I had to learn. I played football my whole life, but I never played organized football. So it was my first time learning plays, wearing pads, and doing the whole hoopla. But I got to do a lot of my stunts. Get through my double in every now and then. Shout out to him. What's up, Keyshawn? But like, I for sure did the bulk of my own stunts in that, and that was infectious too. Like, I got the book for that, so I could easily see myself transition into just action. But I also am aware that a lot of people just, not a lot of people, a lot of those opportunities aren't necessarily just handed out. I put the work in, whatever it takes, I'll do it. But I'm waiting for that to come back around again.
If you weren't in the industry, you weren't acting, you weren't rapping, you weren't directing, what would you have been doing?
Probably working somewhere in politics and education.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, easy. Nice. I think, like I mentioned, in high school, I was involved in a lot of organizations. I don't want to run down a whole lot, but for multiple years at high school, like, I was the president of the school, and I was the president of multiple organizations at the same time. Going out of senior year, I was president of 4 organizations, including the senior class. Or was it? I think I was vice president of the senior class, but I still was like president of other organizations. Since then, even now that me and Ivan have this media company, if it wasn't a media company, it would probably be a different company of some sort, some form of distribution, some form of product services, but definitely working in education, because I know I've always wanted to work in that space. My whole purpose for going to film school, well, Clark Atlanta's film department. When I say film school and then say Clark, people just don't know how underrated Clark Atlanta's department really is. You know what I mean? But when I say film school, what I really mean is the film department at Clark Atlanta. You know what I mean? I went to there with the intention to direct documentaries. You know what I mean? That's the love that I had going on. So even though even that's still technically filmmaking, it's still a different space than what I'm doing now. So political documentaries, documentaries about the culture, documentaries about Black people in general, were my point of focus.
Yeah.
And I will comfortably say that there's going to be a phase in my life where I do all of that. Maybe 12 years, 13, 14 years from now, when I have my children and they walk on their own, I'll probably shift my career a little bit or find a way to balance whatever I'm doing at the time with some kind of, you know, political advancements. But, you know, definitely education for sure. Definitely.
You know, I this as I talk to you, I just feel like, wow, you know, you become a friend in my head, right? Like,
we are friends, Courtney. What's up?
Like, wow, you know what I mean? Like your whole entire aura, I can feel it from the other side. And I'm
that's what's up, bro. Thank you.
I gotta treat
likewise,
you dude. I gotta treat you to lunch or dinner. So you gotta come into the East Coast. And
hey, I've spent 10 years in the East Coast. You stay in New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Okay, next time I'm there, I'll let you know in a real way. You can look at sushi. He has this really dope spot in the village. He took me one time. So
yeah,
definitely
really
gotta make sure. I would love to go to New York again at some point this year, God. But I'll let you know if I come.
Yeah, let me know. If you could take a moment to honor anyone who you feel like has kept you uplifted and kept you motivated and also kept you grounded, who would it be and what would you say to them?
My mother. My mom, I've watched her work tirelessly for the better part of the last 30 years. She's in a position now in life where she don't got no more babies. She has to take care of. My youngest sister is in her sophomore year at Cal Baptist at this point. So it's beautiful to watch her take her dreams seriously. She's a phenomenal writer, and now she has the time to put some real traction into that. You know what I mean? She could easily run a business. It's just about making time for that. She just graduated from college. She's on the dean's list, like A student. You know what I mean? And she just didn't have time to give that kind of attention to detail when she was raising us. You know what I mean? She had multiple jobs. So because of that, thank you, Mom. You know what I'm saying? My mom is really, really a real one. That's the tweet, bro.
That was real. I love that. That was really nice.
Yeah, I'm super proud of her too. You know what I mean? I really am. Yeah.
So what do you have coming up next that we can support, and how can people follow you and be a part of the Terayle Hill, you know, organization, whatever you got going on? How can we be a part, you know?
All right, for sure. We could do that. And then I still want to revisit that question that you asked, if you remember what it was.
I haven't forgotten. I was giving you time.
No, for sure. I just want to make sure, because that sounds like one of the last questions. How can people, you know? My Instagram handles is just my first name. My first name is spelled kind of weird. See right there. It's Terayle. TERAYLE _ on pretty much everything. Twitter, Instagram. But I do have to talk about my media company just for a second. Everybody's Incorporated. The Instagram handle is EVERYBODIES. It's not YS, it's IES. I'm from the IE. My brother Ivan is from Seattle. IES. Everybody's Inc. INC. So Everybody's Inc. on Instagram, and we have multiple branches. You know what I mean? We have a film company called Everybody's Originals. We have a network on YouTube called the Everybody's Network. Both of my musical projects, as well as a few others, can be found on Everybody's Music Group, and Apple Music, and all the other streaming sites as well. And it's also a licensing facility. We're not a label, but hopefully the music that we have can eventually become the soundtrack to movies and television shows. And we hope to start licensing that stuff to the film industry. And that's our ultimate goal with Everybody's Music Group. We also have a publishing company, Everybody's Publishing, Everybody's Apparel, clothing, everything that's coming out. For example, the spoken word show I spoke about. If you want the spoken word hoodie, go to Everybody's Inc. /apparel, and you'll find Speak Up hoodies. You know what I mean? So our apparel company is tied to the merchandising and television shows that we create, and Everybody Cares is a nonprofit we're working on building as we speak. So it's just a multi-branch media company, Everybody's Inc. And again, my first name is me on everything. So I'll add.
I'm gonna have to talk to you, because I'm gonna have to get on Everybody's. I'm gonna have to find my way.
Hey, don't tell me that if you don't mean it, okay? Because
like, if I said it, I mean it. I promise you. Listen. Well, we're gonna have to speak after this because
we'll be on another Zoom on Monday.
yes, yeah.
Bro. I'm saying
We're gonna have to speak after this. I swear.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
I'm gonna have to inbox you on IG. We're gonna have to make some happen conversation.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'll give you my contact and stuff via email or IG or whatever the case. I got you, bro. And I mean it though. You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
serious. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Virtual
Let's do it. I definitely want to go back to our question.
Yeah,
I really think that it's important. So my question to you earlier before was the message that you carry along with you, right? You know, I know for myself, my message is you don't get the right to give up. That was something that I had to go through because I went through kidney failure, right? And when I got my kidney transplant, I realized that God put me through that because I needed to be able to tell the story to help save somebody else's life and to remind them that no matter what they're going through, they don't get the right to give up because their story is not their own, right? But I had to go through some things to be able to tell somebody that. So for you, being in this space, but kind of going through life, what message have you had or have you created or have someone told you that you've stuck with that has allowed you to carry on so far?
The only thing that makes this question tough is that I tell myself so many things and I put pressure on myself to say the right thing just in case somebody who's watching may need it.
Yeah.
But these days, especially because things in my life are changing, I think obedience is key. Obedience is key. Obedience is key. Obedience is key.
There was a
quote. Yeah, no, it's literally a quote. I won't spend too much time looking for it, but it's an obedience quote. And I wrote it down literally in my Twitter drafts. It won't take take hard to find real quick. But I have it right here. Now I'm not gonna sit there and look for it on Facebook Live. Here's what we'll do. Obedience is key. I think it's that simple. I think in order to be obedient, you need to be able to tap in with the part of yourself that's connected to the source. You know what I mean? So if your everyday is you searching for the source, stop everything and make that your number one priority so you can see very clearly what your mission is supposed to be. There is really nothing too obvious about our journey outside of the things that we're just interested in.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's our biggest cheat codes and our first hint at life. The thing we're most interested in, the things that we like to do, the things that make us happy are the things that we probably were given gifts by God attached to our purpose for. You know what I mean? So being obedient and staying obedient is kind of been my mantra to myself. Because
staying obedient.
Yeah, obedience.
Staying obedient. I think a lot of us
obedient.
It's so hard to us to gravitate to that, right? We want to be, but then the world gets in the way, and we navigate in ways that, like you were saying, sometimes may interest us. And just because it interests us, it doesn't mean it's right. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I mean, I really wish I could find this quote, man. But I think obedience is key. I think that's just simple as it gets, because there's nothing. If here's something that pretty much is the tagline with that. If God don't want it for me, I don't want it either. I think that's simple. I think it's that simple. There are things that are going to come across our desk every single day as people, no matter what we do for a living, whether no matter what we do for a living, there will be options for us to participate in interacting with certain people, certain things that advance us or hold us back. And in order for you to know for sure what decisions you should make, you must be able to tap into that source and figure out what's best for you. Because whatever's best for you, God will make obvious. You know what I mean? Anything you got to question or you got to pray about twice, probably ain't the time to participate in that. You feel me?
That's right.
And I think that's just about, I'm really upset. I'm kicking myself for not knowing this quote. I'm sorry, y'all. But basically, it all centers around obedience, because I would hate to get to heaven and see this huge wall of blessings I could have got had I been obedient. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So trying to stay tapped in as much as possible, you know, still enjoy this this human experience that we spirits get to see, but also
Mhm.
tap in beyond that, beyond what happens day to day.
Yeah, there's so much more to life than just what you see on the surface. So
So much more,
yeah,
bro. So much more.
man. You know, after we're done, I don't want you to leave. We got to continue talking, but
No, for sure.
I wanted to wrap this up, and I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Like, you're the last guest for the week. I think I got like 2 or 3 more, and then the season is done.
Hey,
I'm really
congratulations.
thank you. I'm really selective. This is now season 4 of the show, and I'm really selective of who I bring on because I believe in the person behind the craft. And a lot of people can't talk in depth like we've done because they're so into the thing that they can't speak outside of it. And I appreciate you for your transparency, for dropping some gems in here, because there are some people right now, I can't shout you guys all out because it's hard for me to see. But I love you guys all for watching and tuning in. And please make sure that you are following Terayle Hill because I said so. Just because I said so. You're doing so many different things and you don't want to miss anything that's going on. I love you all for watching. I thank you for watching one of the greatest shows created in digital history so far. You know
Stop
what I mean?
playing with him. He's not to be played with.
This is Courtney Starks and my brother Terayle Hill, and we are done with another episode of One on One with Courtney Starks. I love you, and I'll see you next time.
One love, y'all.